Hey guys, how you doing? It's Ryan with dpmarketing.services. Hope you're having a good week so far. I'm on the road today. I'm driving to, actually you can't see it, I've got one of our cameras, our contractor's getting an award that we work with. So we're gonna go get some shots, start it on their website, use it for some PR. So yeah, on my way to do that. We had a conversation yesterday with the contractor and wanted to run it by you because I think it's really common. So nothing to do with marketing necessarily. So let's think about this from a business standpoint. Obviously, if you've watched our videos much, or if you've talked to us at a conference, you know we work with HVAC and plumbing contractors to maximize their lead flow. Specifically, we use the internet, right? So website and pay-per-click and social media, and we like everything digital where your customer is, we do it. That's our focus, but really what we care about is helping you grow your business, which means that we try to help give insight to things that are outside of marketing, just to help you put into place and to have a better business. So marketing, if you think about like a financial statement, marketing is focused on people, like think about it as overhead, and from a financial thing it kind of is, but it's really a function of revenue, right? Marketing is trying to generate revenue, sustain revenue, increase revenue. So yes, while you calculate it for that as an overhead expense, it's not so much trying to subtract away from the bottom line, it's actually trying to add to the top line if it's working. So that's kind of how it's set up to be. The part of what people tend to struggle with, one is like how much money do you spend on marketing, and we've done videos with that, we've written about that a lot. People tend to think we're biased when we say one thing or another because we're marketers, right? Conflict of interest or whatnot, and I get that. So we actually use the SBA, the Small Business Administration. If you're in the United States, it's a government entity. U.S. Small Business Administration, their guidelines right now are 7% of your revenue should be targeted back to advertising expenses for maintenance, right? Not necessarily for growth, for maintenance. So if you're spending under 7%, you're probably noticing that your peaks and valleys in your business a lot. If you're spending more than 7% and you're not growing, that probably means you have a problem with your marketing being effective. But that's not what this is about. So let's pretend, but we have to think about this from a financial standpoint. So let's think about money comes in as revenue, and let's assume that you're solid, you got this right, you're doing flat rate pricing, you're doing a book, your prices are good, maybe even prices are higher than your competitors, that's fine. Part of understanding the reason you even do a flat rate pricing is it helps reduce the seasonality in your business. In other words, if you're a heating and air contractor, every summer it's going to be busy for air conditioning services. Every winter it's going to be busy for heating services, unless you're in like a temperate climate like Houston, where it's just kind of warm all year round. So you're always going to have these peaks and valleys. The idea at its core of doing a flat rate pricing model is that it helps take the peak season and get enough revenue there that it helps you grow and sustain yourself through the slow season. That's just part of it. What a lot of contractors tend to do is they see all the money coming in the fat season, like in the middle of summer, they see the cash coming in, and they just start grabbing it, right? They start using it for different things that are not budgeted, that are not necessarily smart business decisions. But they go, well, the cash is coming in, it's plenty, it's great, without realizing that money that they see coming in is actually focused on the slow season. It's actually focused on the middle of fall, where the weather is not extreme. And every business has a seasonality, so you need to understand yours and your market. But you also have to understand how that money impacts your business. So think about your so basically what it comes down to is to maximize your business's ability to thrive year round, right? It's not necessarily increasing more marketing, although that could be part of it. Oftentimes, many times, it's also about doing better financial management inside the company, which is recognizing that the money coming in during the busy season isn't necessarily money for you to take right then. It's for you to sit on until you need it in the fall or the winter or whatever the slow season is for you. So keeping those things in mind, how it works out in the real world, you want to think about it this way. So you have the revenue you collect, which is the price that you ask for from customers, right? So this is your price to do your service, whatever it is. If you do it as an hour, you know what? For the sake of this math right now, let's keep it. Let's say your break even and profit and all this breaks down to $500 an hour for simple math. Your mileage may vary. It's $500 an hour. You do 1 hour job, so you collect $500. Of that $500, you're going to have a certain amount that's going to be like parts and materials and supplies. That's going to be called cost of goods. So that's kind of taken right off the top. And then what's left after you've taken out your cost of goods is what's called a contribution margin. Sometimes you're going to call it like gross profit. From an accountant standpoint, it's a contribution margin. This is the money that's left to run and sustain the business as a whole. So this is going to include taxes, payroll, keeping the phone bill paid, paying for your marketing, salaries, whatever, right? Anything that's year-round that's not based on the job that you actually just did, the contribution margin does that. And then whatever's left is going to be considered your profit margin. So that's going to be your net profit after everything else is deducted. So in reality, you want to measure a couple things. One, you want to make sure that the price that you're charging, so the price you're asking for that you're generating revenue, is a smart number, that it's built for your business, that it's based on the flat rate model. We have a guide on our website if you want to look at it, and we'll kind of walk you through it. So that's step one. Make sure the price you're asking for is right. Two, you want to make sure that you're managing your cost of goods. So make sure that you're getting your inventory at the best price you can. Make sure you're not paying unnecessary interest. Make sure your guys aren't carrying it and lifting it from their vans. The more you can control your COGS, the better margin that gives you a contribution margin. Then you want to manage your contribution margin. You want to make sure that you're keeping your operating expenses and overhead as lean as reasonable. And then lastly, you want to make sure that your profit margin, you're doing what you can to make sure. So the profit margin will grow and shrink over time. But you should do your best to control your COGS and control your overhead, so that when you're actually getting the revenue, it doesn't matter if it's peak season or slow season, you're getting enough money and you're allocating it throughout the year. So this is, I hope that's helpful, something for you to think about. I know a couple guys do a couple different things, like, hey, take how many get a slow call and how many you have to knock off your price and then add that to the rest of the year. Sure, like, you can do that. It feels a little bit more complicated to go that route than just understand and continually kind of reassess your pricing. You should probably do that every quarter, like for a rolling budget year. In other words, so do it for 12 months, and then in another 3 months, go back and do the 12 months before, and then go 3 months down the road again and do another 12 months. Just always keep it rolling. And just review your volume, review your pricing, review your cost, and make sure you're in balance. But I would love to know what you have to think, because we see a lot of guys struggle with this. It's not just about the price you ask, it's also how you manage and use that money once you collect it. Leave us a note. Let us know what you think. Follow us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We try to keep videos like this coming all the time. But let us know, how do you do this? I'd love to hear from you. And we'll talk next time. See you guys.